Hey Tony, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty fucking nice if you ask me. I think it's a beautiful day for some political discourse, you know what I'm saying?
You're telling me, partner.
Is it bad to start this off with Italian stereotypes? I think it might be.
I think both candidates really got to court the Italian American vote.
Yeah, honestly, we all know the reason why Biden won is because he snatched that Italian American vote. Bless his heart
He
for doing
was
it. Hey Tony, pizza pasta! Raviolo! Okay. Alright, everybody, welcome to episode 14 of the B-Man podcast. It's you.
B-Man podcast.
Did I
Just
forget
me,
to say
bitch.
myself?
Yeah,
God
get the
fucking
fuck
damn
out
it.
of here.
Cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. Welcome back to the Pell and B-Man podcast, the BPE. And today's a little bit of a different one because it's a little bit of a different time in our nation's history, you know? But before we get into all that, B-Man, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's beautiful outside, and I decided to spend this beautiful day talking to this fucking idiot.
You know, Tony, I can say the damn... I need to stop talking in Italian accent. You know, man, I feel the
You know,
exact same.
once you start, it's really hard to get out of.
And it's the worst thing ever because I have an IRL friend called Tony, and it's so fucking hard not to say his name casually in an Italian accent, and it's gonna come. Worst part is he's Mexican as well, so it doesn't even make fucking sense. So it's just the
That's-
fucking worst. But alright. What is it with you guys and talking in italics? I wish I fucking knew, dude. We just can't stop.
It's like I don't even. It's been a bit for so long. I can't even begin to explain it.
Yeah. So alright, the way this podcast is gonna work is me and B-Man, we're just gonna talk about our personal views for a little bit too, because it's our podcast, so we can do whatever the fuck we want. Then after that, we're gonna bring on around 4 to 5 guests, depending on time, of people who want to talk about the election in a dignified. Let me say right now, if you're gonna spout some random racist rhetoric, you're just gonna get kicked off, and we'll bring on someone else. We want actual structured conversation about what you think about the election, where we have questions of our own to ask as well. We want to make it interesting, but not to the point where it's just flat out toxic. Just
Yeah,
stupid
for
ass
sure.
rhetoric. Like,
If you're gonna be an idiot, don't even try, kiddo.
yeah, if you're gonna just be a fucking idiot, just don't even bother, basically. But yeah, we'll get to that in like 10ish minutes or so, like I said. So B-Man, we were watching the election go live, like with Galaxy.
Yeah.
I think Josh was there, a few others. I think Maddie came on for a little bit towards the end as well. We were watching the election go down, dude. How are you feeling watching it happen live?
Watching it happen, it was kind of gunzo, to be honest. I mean, I was honestly during election times, I try to avoid it as much as possible because it's kind of it's really tense and stressful, even if like your guy is favored to win. So for the first couple of hours of it, I was like playing a game or something, and then every couple hours I'd check up on the states and shit.
Yeah. No, I don't think I was ever so acutely aware of how important the elections were until I think Obama's second election, 2012. I couldn't even vote in that one, but that was the first time I think I actually sat down and watched what happened. So I think I was just mature enough to actually care about what happened, you know? But
Yeah.
yeah, and that was an interesting experience. I watched it with my mom, who's like a staunch Republican. My dad who's a staunch Democrat, and it was like listening, like parents fight, but listening to them bicker that night, I was like, holy shit, this is like a big fucking deal, isn't it? It's like a major fucking event. And it was just like,
Yeah.
it was like a defining moment where I was like, okay, I should probably start paying attention to these. And then of course we had
First,
Trump versus Hillary, and that was a whole different ball game. Oh, sorry, what were you gonna say?
no, I was just kind of thinking back to when politics mattered, or at least it started to for me.
Yeah.
I remember when Trump, the night, I think it was like on a weekend or something, when election day went around, or it was a weekend for me. I I said as like a bit to a couple of my buddies, like, "Yep, Trump's gonna win. He's gonna take it home," and and I came back, and I'm like, "I fucking told you."
I fucking told you, you dumb broad. It's, I honestly wasn't sure who was gonna win. You know, like, Blood's trying to represent the Lucha. Save it for the when I bring you on, Blood. But I just lost my whole train of thought. Oh yeah, like this election, everyone was saying the polls again. Biden had the clear, defining win coming in because everyone hates Trump. That wasn't really the case. It was pretty clear cut until the next morning when all the mail-in votes started to be counted.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that was.
and that was
I mean,
a big moment. I was honestly, man, I owe a lot of my hope to you because the night we were watching, I was like, Georgia, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, they're all fucking toast. They've all gone red, and you're like, well, hang on, Tony, they haven't even started counting the mail-in votes. And I was like, holy shit, you're fucking right. And he told them,
Yeah.
he told none of his side to fucking vote with that. So that's kind of honestly switched the entire game, and it did, and of course there's
Absolutely did.
yeah, and of course there's no controversy about that, and I'll ask some of our guests about what they think about it. But man, Dan, I was just stunned the next morning. And of course this morning when PA and Pennsylvania and Georgia did go blue. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I was when I was there with you at election night. I was looking at happen, and I was like, okay, these races, they're fucking razor thin. Like it's anyone's game really, but I figure, you know, the longer it goes on, the better it's going to be for Biden, you know. So you know, you have to just kind of be patient with it, was the way I thought of it.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of anxiety. Like, well, I mean, yeah, of course there was. I think I let it get to me a little bit, which hadn't even happened during the 2016 one, but that was probably just because I was so confident at the time. But yeah, dude, the next morning though, that kind of went away, and I was like, well, maybe there's a chance Biden will pull through on it. And if it isn't clear to the chat, we're like very clearly Democratic, or maybe clearly Democrats, not Republicans. But we'll of course still have, I'm sure, people with Republican views. Come on, there's nothing wrong with that. Actually, now I think about it, man, I think we both said we were going to be fascists instead of Democrats. I clearly remember that conversation happening, don't you?
I mean, I only really like Mussolini. The rest I don't really care for.
You followed up so well. I was literally going to say because of Mussolini. But
I like Mussolini for his pizza policies.
Yeah, he had some good pizza policies, you know, thick crust only, just how I like it.
I mean, remember, we covered on an earlier episode that Mussolini tried to ban pasta.
Can we do a Mussolini accent? What do you even fucking sound
What's
like?
the difference between an Italian accent and Mussolini?
Fucking difference. Okay, while me and Beeman wrap up our final things here, for our guests that we chose, if you guys want to... Or I guess, you know, it doesn't even fucking matter. If you want to talk, it'll be 10-minute intervals, or yeah, roughly 10-minute intervals. Join the general question zone. Doesn't really matter. And we'll drag you in one at a time. There's no particular order. We're just gonna drag you in. But yeah. Mussolini. My mind can't multitask you, man. And just having like Italian American accents at the forefront of my mind trying to run a podcast is really fucking hard.
It's, you know, I have to deal with that shit all the time.
Yeah, I feel you, Tony. I feel you. It's I don't know. All that aside, I think we're gonna try and run the conversations as if it's not pretty much called. Like the election isn't called yet. Like there's still a chance Trump could pull through in either PA or GA. But for I think it's safe to say where it's gone, just because of the mail-in ballots. Like there's no more, there's like very few Republican ballots that are gonna be counted anymore. I think, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it.
yeah. Go ahead.
No, I don't. Is it even possible for Trump to win at this point? I mean,
Even if he pulls back Pennsylvania, Georgia, he can. Pennsylvania,
like
Nevada will
if he won, if he was able to pull through in Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Georgia, could he snag it?
Then he wins, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but as long as I think Nevada, it's never even dipped red. So
Yeah. What's the percentage on Nevada now?
let's take a look. That's why I got this handy dandy map. Oh, it's actually, yeah, it's gone up 1.6% in his favor.
But
So,
it's 8. Yeah, but it's still it's only 87 reporting. So,
that's
the-
fair. That's true.
but like, again, I don't think like even if Joe Biden doesn't win Nevada, I think he has some. He has a lot of options because he could win Georgia, he can win Pennsylvania, and he'll
Yeah.
be good.
He has
No.
the best chance in Nevada at this point to me. Georgia and Pennsylvania are so close, but there's also so many votes already counted that I'm just not even sure what would happen.
For sure. I think the ideal scenario is that he wins Nevada and he either wins Georgia or Pennsylvania, because I knew Trump was going to do some kind of recount in Arizona or Wisconsin or something. So if he's able to like get significantly past the threshold, then he'll be good, right?
I think he will.
Yeah.
I think he'll have a pretty good chance.
What
Also,
do you,
I don't know where our fucking guests are. I know Chocolate was very adamant about being here. Hello, Dr. Chocolate? You even fucking here?
This is so sad.
Fucking Adam. He was,
This
one
is
he was one I actually wanted to talk to the most, because he has some pretty concrete political views. I think he would be the best one to talk to, bless his dumb little ass heart. But, I don't know. I don't mind talking until they've arrived, but... Oh, Silver is here. Should we bring
Oh,
Silver
great,
as our first guest?
yeah, for sure.
Alright, let's do it. First of all, I'm gonna turn off the fucking music. I think let me do that real quick.
Is the music still on?
Yeah, I just realized I only turned it down. I didn't mute it all the way. Now it's stopped. Alright. Let's see here. Hey, Silver, how you doing?
Yo, was cooking good looking?
Not much. Baby
Trying to
girl.
get with my man.
Trying to get...
Uh,
We're starting it off like this, I can already tell.
oh fuck, dude.
Alright.
So much echo from your screen. Alright, yeah, do you have any questions for me?
Why don't you start us off, Silver, if you have any, then we can get into ours.
Alright. Okay. Who do you think will win the election?
Well, like B-Man and I were saying before you came in, we're pretty sure it's Biden's won it, and I think he's won it since what was it?
Okay.
Tuesday,
Now,
Tuesday,
Pell,
Tuesday?
who do you think should win the election?
I still think it should be Biden.
Who would you vote for?
Biden. I think those two are synonymous.
Okay.
Nah, you got me. I voted for
Okay.
Joe Jorgensen.
I voted.
Bro, honestly, look at it. If Trump got Joe Jorgensen's votes, he would have won every single state.
Not every single state.
Well, every single state that's in contention. Like, he would have won Michigan, he would have won Wisconsin, he would have won Nevada by now. And, like, it
Yeah.
wouldn't even been close.
Actually, that's not a bad point. I did want to talk about third parties, so why don't we start?
I
with
think
that? Sorry.
I think it's kind of sorry to jump in. It's kind of like a reverse situation of what we saw in 2017, right? Or 2016. A lot of people voted Green and didn't vote Democratic, and I think that's kind of the opposite happening.
Yeah, it's kind of like a third party effect, like, happening again. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think this is one of the few times in our history where the third parties actually played a decisive role in who wins the election. Last time that happened was
And you know
I
what
think
else
2000.
played an
Where the,
extremely decisive role
hmm.
was the second Nebraska district.
Yes, I was looking at
Oh,
that earlier as well. Let me find your
I read
Nebraska
an
real quick.
article about that because that's
Yeah, because
They have the
that was
one
one
precinct.
electoral vote, and if Trump won PA, North Carolina, and Georgia, then it would have been a tie.
Yep.
269, 269.
Yep. It just goes to show how fucking decisive it was. Yeah, that one precinct right there nailed us to vote.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I shouldn't say us. I guess I should ask you what political party do you uh, align with?
Oh, well, I'm
If any.
17, so I can't vote yet, but I would have voted for Trump.
You're Republican.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say Republican. I'm just saying I would have voted for Trump.
Okay. So
If
sorry. Go
if you have a second, some of the random other candidates that ran are really funny.
Kanye West.
Uh,
Yeah.
Did you see that
Honestly, if
picture?
Kanye West won, I wouldn't be angry.
Did you see that picture of Kanye West at his campaign party, and he was the only one there with his head in his hand?
No. That's fucking
That's
funny
really
though.
sad, actually.
That is a little
I-
sad.
Actually, really sad.
I don't know.
I-
There's no way he expected to win though, right? Like him personally, he must.
I have
Nah,
a feeling,
he should have took it home. No one knew he was running.
I have a feeling he genuinely believed he could have won.
Not against like the. Okay, maybe he could
Hey,
have snagged a significant part of the popular vote like Joe Jorgensen did, but he never had a realistic chance of winning.
I'm not saying it was possible, but what I'm
maybe
saying is
maybe
he
he
thinks
could
he
have
could.
won
Yeah.
like if you think about it though, maybe like
Hmm.
2024 Kanye West can come in and like avenge Trump. Or Trump comes back and is like, yo, yeah, y'all fucked up by voting for Biden. Look at all this dumb shit he did. Now
Okay,
you should vote for me.
here's
Assuming Biden does dumb shit.
Hmm.
here's what I've been thinking about for the past few days.
Right.
If or when Trump does leave office, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna go back to like The Apprentice? Like, what's his job gonna be?
I mean, he's a billionaire. He doesn't really need a job.
I guess so, but I mean, the guy's the most controversial man in America. It's gonna be difficult to maintain that money.
Yeah, I
that's
think
true.
he's gonna probably go back to running his businesses. Honestly, give him his full attention, shit like that.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I could see him trying to run again in 2024.
That seems like some Trump shit he'd probably pull out.
It would. I mean,
Because
it's
I
not
mean,
illegal,
like,
right?
think about it. Like the motto, 4 more years. It's like technically there still could be 4 more years, even if he loses this election.
4 more years till I run again.
Well, won't he have aged out by then? Or no? Because he's the oldest president we've
Uh,
ever had,
he's
isn't he?
he's pretty old, I think. Yeah.
I think there's a point. I'm pretty sure. Well, I mean, don't call me. I can just honestly look this up. Right?
Yeah, is there age
Can you age
maximum
out of
president?
being president?
Maybe even crazier though. Donald Trump Jr. comes into the ring and he's like, "Yo, Dad, I
Yeah.
got you."
There's no maximum. It looks like.
No, it doesn't look like it. Yeah, you just have to be 35.
He will be pretty old by that point, though. I think. Like, how old is he now? Like 70 something.
Yeah.
How old will Trump
I mean, Biden's
be?
no. It's not fucking spring chicken either, but I think he's younger.
He'll be
than Trump by a few
he'll be
years.
78 in 2024. So if he runs again in 2024, he'll leave office well into his
When he's
80s.
82.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be the oldest. See, the thing.
Well, I
another
think
thing-
FDR may have been older actually.
Oh shit, yeah, that's a good point.
Was he really in his 70s?
Old was
FDR,
I thought he
I
was
mean,
just
literally
80.
like died of old age.
FDR was
So-
63.
He died of polio, man.
What? Oh,
Yeah, he died. He
He
had like
died
a
of polio, I
life-threatening
don't
illness.
think.
Yeah. But I guess that's still like a moral.
Yeah.
It's a moral dilemma at the end of the day. It's like, yeah, FDR was your
Yeah.
president, but he knew he was probably going to die in office. I think it's the same thing that applies to an elderly candidate. Like, yeah, you win, but for the good of the people, are you really going to accept it? Like, you could drop dead, and who knows what will happen then. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I don't have.
I feel-
It's well within Trump's right to rerun if he does. It's happened, and people have one president won like that before. I don't know if it would be the
Yeah,
I
fucking.
think it's only been one.
fair enough. It was
Yeah, one of the lame ones.
Grover
Yeah,
Cleveland.
no one knows
Grover
him.
Cleveland won it. That's it.
Oh, he was the one that got shot, right?
I think so. I think so. I don't know.
No, Garfield got shot.
Uh,
Yeah.
Garfield the cat when he ran for president.
Yeah, John popped the cap in his black ass.
Jesus Christ. I think we got. I set a timer because I wanted to make sure we got to the people that we wanted in due time. So we got about 4 more minutes left here, Silver.
Okay.
One of the things I wanted to ask,
And I'll take those 4 minutes to plug my stream. The Admiral Bloodstrait podcast is going to be running at I'd say around 5:30, 5:45. Probably once this stream's done, we'll be playing Kitmap. We'll be on Viper HCF. You know,
damn.
it'll be pretty chill. You know.
and we will be
Sounds
rating
like
him. We will be rating him, so you can go right there with no problem.
Gonna run a
Yeah.
parallel podcast,
You know
commentate
what?
his podcast.
Maybe you guys should get like Sixth Fleet to play, and like we can be like rival factions, and like
Oh, good.
you know, because you guys have superior PvPers, like obviously. So
Yeah, like
I'm sure you
yourself.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you guys have Esther, like the best trackpad PvPer. Like
Esther, me and Esther have won many victories.
I
That's
mean,
true, actually, you guys have done pretty good.
I think Galaxy actually even won a 3v1 during one of the Civ Wars tournaments, right?
He did, yeah. Galaxy is ironically the best of our group. in terms of
Yeah, I mean,
I won't sugarcoat it
Yeah.
there, but it is what it is. But one of the last things I wanted to ask you, Silver, regarding the election is how do you feel towards the, or how do you feel about the mail-in votes that are being mailed in? There's a lot of talk about them not being legit, mostly from the Republican side, and since you're a Trump supporter, how do you feel about it?
well, personally, I think the mail-in ballots are like kind of stupid. I mean, obviously, but like, I don't know. I feel like if we ended it at like 5 a.m. on Wednesday, like I would be a lot happier because Trump would have just like straight up won. But I understand the need for the mail-in ballots, but I feel like there's way too much like chance for corruption, you know?
Yeah.
I feel that, but there hasn't. They haven't reported any. All the investigators haven't reported any fraud yet. And I mean, do I suspect that there is some somewhere? Yeah, I think with a situation like this where both
Like
sides are
there almost has to be.
I don't think it'd be
Like,
enough to genuinely.
I could even see Trump like committing fraud, you know? Like
Oh, I think it would.
I'm not even
both
saying it would
sides.
be,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
limited
I-
to the Democrats.
It's
like,
just I don't think it would be enough to really swing any states or elections, you know?
that's what I think. Yeah, and all the
Because that would have
yeah.
yeah, and all
that'd
the
have to be a
experts
pretty
So I keep talking. I'm sorry. Be good.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say all the experts have pretty much said as well. Like even if there was fraud, it would be pretty negligent because it happens in so small and rare amounts. But that's all I was
Yeah.
gonna say. Now you can talk.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I was
one of
basically
my friends even like he was telling me he went to go vote and like all they asked him for was his name, like literally nothing else.
Not even an ID.
And I was
did he
like,
vote in person? Or
yeah,
did he
no
drop off
idea.
a ballot?
Yeah, he voted in, with a ballot, I believe, mail-in ballot.
Then I don't.
Well,
you don't typically
so it's,
need to
like,
give the ID for that
kinda
because
crazy.
they
I
back
think
check
it-
it. It's if in person you need the ID. Because I didn't
Yeah,
get
it-
checked either.
I think
I
it
mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter. Like, I live in New York State. Like, I don't think I was going right.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough.
But, like, still, just, like, the fact that, like, you know, anywhere that's happening, it's, like, it shows.
Yeah. Ben, we got 20 seconds in here. Why don't you wrap us up with the last thing you were gonna say? Sorry.
All I wanted to say was, you guys should check out the Blood and Admiral podcast in,
Shut
45
up.
minutes
Let
approximately.
D-Man talk.
We'll be playing
Let D-Man
HCF.
talk.
It'll be, very fun. Definitely check it out.
Let him finish.
Yeah,
Oh,
Pell stinks.
Silver, that's your time done. Thanks for
That's
coming
time.
on.
Thanks
You
for
too.
Okay, yeah, thanks for having me. Make sure to check out the podcast.
We will. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah.
Big man, what were you gonna say?
Uh,
What were you trying
I
to
don't.
say?
When we kept talking over each other,
Yes.
I was basically saying the same thing you were.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
But yeah, whatever. We got a Galaxy also in
Yeah.
general.
I'm gonna bring Galaxy right now. I just also saw Chaco thought he was gonna. It didn't
Yeah.
go well. He thought it was 1:30 EST, not 4:30.
Oh,
Not 1:30 PST. So we're gonna miss him, but we can still get Galaxy on, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and drag him in. And since it's just Galaxy, I should have. I think we'll extend the interviews just a little bit longer since I think most of our guests seem to have misinterpreted the time, so it's whatever. We're in Galaxy on for 15 minutes here. I'm just resetting the timer. Okay. Hey Galaxy, how's it going?
hello.
Well, let me start the timer. No.
Welcome.
Galaxy, I feel the first question that we should ask the guests we bring on, what political affiliation do you hold?
I'm a registered Democrat.
Okay. So we're all
Sick.
Democrats here. That's fine. So you were with us when we were watching the election go down on election night.
I was
November
with
3rd.
you.
Yeah, you were. How are you feeling when we towards the end of it before we all headed out for the night?
Pretty good.
You were pretty confident.
Yeah.
Damn. What made you so
I
confident?
knew.
Because it didn't look that way when you left.
I knew PA was gonna flip at some point.
Really? You thought?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's your home state, so
Yeah.
I know you had a lot of faith in it, but it was like pretty staunchly red when you left.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure even a couple days ago, like that it would flip.
Yeah.
Only until this morning.
I knew they had so many mail-in ballots, especially in Philly.
Yeah, I think the governor said they had a. I heard about it the next day, so that's why I probably wasn't as confident. But like they had like million mail-in votes to
Yeah,
go through.
something like that.
Yeah, like that's nuts. That's crazy. But it worked well. It worked. It worked for Biden, I should say. It didn't work out for Trump supporters. So I guess I want to ask you the same thing I asked Silver towards the end there. Instead, how do you feel about the mail-in votes? Do you think there's a lot of corruption that might be going on in them, or are they pretty
I
legit?
don't think there was corruption. I just think the way it happened was very confusing, and that the states and federal government could have handled it a lot better.
Yeah, I think it seemed a little confrontational on both sides.
Yeah.
And that.
Especially since
Mhm.
the federal government didn't allow states to count the ballots until election day or like the day before.
Yeah, so much for the vote early thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to look. I want to be as fair as possible on this, and I'm not trying to attack any candidate when I say this, but it does seem like there is a lot of attempts on the Republican side to commit voter suppression. I know down here there's, in my state, there was a lot of misleading
California.
ballot boxes put out by the Republicans, and there were
Yeah, I saw stuff.
Oh yeah.
yeah. And I don't want to
Heard
say
about
that
that.
it could have as well happened with Biden supporters doing the same in other states. But everything I ever heard, and I do listen even to Fox News sometimes because you got to listen to both sides, but everything I ever heard was that it was on the Republican side, that there's voter suppression. Do you guys think it was just them? Do you think it went both ways? How do you feel about it? We'll start
I
with
mean, I'm
Fox.
sure it went both ways some places.
Mm-hmm. But do you think it's more like isolated events, or do you think it has to do with Trump himself being an aggressive politician?
No, it was definitely just statewide, not
Statewide.
federal-wide.
Yeah. So how do you feel about like Joe Biden as the man? Like, did you vote?
I mean, I went to vote, but I wasn't able to.
Yeah, they turned
Did
you
you-
away. That's why I want to talk about the voter
Yeah.
suppression. But
Yeah.
eventually-
But do you like are you excited to see Biden in the big?
I'm
might be
not.
called- Go
I
ahead.
don't really see Biden as like a great president. I just see him as like the better option.
Hmm.
the
Who would
version- Sorry.
Did you vote at all in the primary?
I would have voted in the primary because I was a huge Pete Buttigieg fan, but he sadly didn't make it to the primaries.
Yeah. Yeah, he was an interesting character as well. He was very young, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think he'll have another shot at the presidency later on once he's built more fame and notoriety.
Yeah, and
for himself.
credibility and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the administration going forward, it's going to be kind of a coalition, a lot of different people and ideas going around. So he might have a place in the White House somewhere.
We can hope so, or we can think so, I suppose.
So I had a question for you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shoot.
So we see like Nebraska and Maine have this like separated votes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Should we have that for the entire U.S.?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, like the electoral college is kind of stupid. I know the argument is made a lot that it helps defend some of the smaller states, but I think there's a way to defend the smaller states while also like not being more democratic, you know?
Mm.
It just kind of strikes me as unfair.
In what way?
What about you, Bo?
In what way, Pete, man? Does it seem unfair?
Well, I mean, this goes for both sides of the aisle, really, because I know, like, in New York State, like Silver was just talking about earlier, he would have voted for Trump, but
Mm-hmm.
it's New York, so that's probably not going to happen. And a lot of other states like that too. A lot of very like Texas. There's a huge amount of more left wing people there, but that state almost always goes red, and those people's voices can't really be heard on a national level, which I think really is really unfair.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Bill?
I've thought about it for a while, and I don't see a reason why it shouldn't happen. Because I think it would be the best demonstration of the popular vote. How it'll affect the electoral... Like, I know we want to talk about... Well, okay, we are talking about the electoral college, so forget what I was about to say. But it all comes down to population. If the population votes the most in the state, then the electoral college votes go, to that candidate, But in Nebraska and Maine, if significant portion of the population go one way, like they did in Nebraska, they got the one precinct and that vote goes to Biden. I don't understand. There has to be some reason why it's not everywhere else like that. Because it makes a lot of sense, at least on paper, right? Like, that's the genuine population divided of the electoral college votes right there.
I mean, at that point though, I don't see why you can't just cut out the middleman, right? Like why would you sort of divvy up electoral college votes like that instead of just saying, okay, whoever got the most votes wins? You know what I mean?
It's for the checks and balances, and at that point, I think voter fraud would have a lot more sway in the thing, because you can't forge electoral college votes. They're a guaranteed thing, and that's the only thing I actually like about them, is that you can't fuck it up because there's a set amount of them. While the popular vote, it can really sway either way. You know what I mean? Like it just did in Pennsylvania and Georgia, and for better or worse, if you're a Trump or Biden supporter, that's the way the popular people voted. But I do believe in our democratic process, but you can't tell me there wasn't some foul play at stake in either of them. So getting rid of the electoral college, I think, would just be a risky thing. It needs to be amended. How? I don't know. But the whole, Nebraska, it's Nebraska, right? That's what we're talking about, not Kansas.
Yeah, Nebraska, Maine, I think.
Nebraska, I don't see why why other states don't do it. On a ethical level. I know why on a political level, because the Republicans would be crushed. Well, just like that. Because the cities have too much sway. That they're the entire reason we won Nevada. I'm gonna zoom on the map right now, and it's the two city states, and everywhere else is red. So it would. it's a rough
Uh,
deal for rural people, but it just comes down to the fact that there's not enough rural people compared to urban people anymore.
Yeah,
But I would also believe if we did like it all in, like Nebraska and Maine, places like Nevada, where the vote would be split, we would see like two like maybe like electoral votes going red instead of all six going blue.
Yeah,
Where it might be a little bit more fair to like popular vote, but it wouldn't just be popular vote.
yeah.
yeah,
And
totally.
and you would see the same thing happen in the deep south states. Like
Yeah,
when
and
Governor
then even New York and stuff.
yeah, all the states wouldn't be all blue, all red. And I know the reason for that is it's not a legit fair reason. It's so that certain states are guaranteed to give their respective party votes. And it's a little scuffed. I'm not gonna lie. It's not for
For
a good
sure.
ethical reason. That's why I don't think it'll ever happen, but the Nebraska model would probably be the fairest for the American people. And
Yeah.
that's my opinion on it. At the end of the day.
Okay, so I have a question for you two. Since we are all Democrats here, what are what are you guys most excited about once Joe Biden goes into the White House?
Environmental policies is like my biggest
Yeah.
reason I support Biden.
I think one of the first things he's going to do is hopefully bring us back into the Paris Accords. Because
Yeah,
for the even if we didn't, but we kept his environmental policies, it's a fucking international embarrassment that we ever left it. The only country in the world to leave the Paris Accords. It's just a sham. And I think it was the stupidest humiliation we
Yeah.
did. So I think he'll do that. But in general, his environmental policies as well, like Galaxy said. I hope he takes a better stance with the racial politics that are going on in the country right now, and that they simmer down, and minorities are given a better deal. Both
yeah,
ethnic and LGBT minorities. I hope they get a better deal. Also, abortion. I hope that the Supreme Court deal. It's kind of out of his hands, but I hope it doesn't go through and they don't reverse abortion, make it illegal, because that would just be another fucking embarrassment. But yeah.
I do. I also think if he really needs to get a handle on the virus, you know.
Yeah. Sorry, fine. That was the next thing I was gonna say. I was trying to say there's
Giant.
But yeah. I'm with
Yeah,
you.
giant elephant in the room there.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't think we're gonna have like a sudden miracle cure expose itself. Honestly, if we did,
For
I'm sure Biden would have pulled. Or not, Trump would have pulled it in his fucking campaign and say, "Vote for me and I'll release the cure." I feel like that he would have pulled that card if he was able to. But
that's some shit he'd do.
yeah. But I think the one thing Biden said was that he would institute a national mandate to wear a mask if you leave your house. I think that's pretty fair. It's definitely. I'm not expecting the cure, but I'm expecting a proactive approach to dealing with the virus instead of just
On the
letting it
topic
sweep
of
the nation.
COVID, I would like to look at Georgia and look at the amount of votes Biden is up by right now. And then also the amount of deaths from COVID in Georgia.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Do you think the amount of old people that passed away due to corona, like
Did Trump kill
they
off
would have voted for Trump?
Did Trump ironically kill off his voter base?
That is
That's
the
kinda-
question everybody's wondering.
That's some Shakespearean shit, man.
It's horrible, but there's probably a shred of truth to it. Come on.
I mean-
I
if he handled corona better, I just think there'd be more people alive to vote for him.
And when he held his rallies, how many people in his rallies caught COVID and then died?
yeah.
How many voters?
That's
I think
kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think a major thing that played in this election, and a lot of the poll people who were making their votes and their estimations, they couldn't guess the election because COVID is such a wild card factor. How do you take?
And
that
I also
into
saw a
account for an
thing,
election?
I think it was either Michigan or Wisconsin. If you died before the election day, your mail-in ballot didn't count.
Ugh. So even
Jesus.
the Republicans who got it. Unfortunate, but it is what it is, I suppose.
How do you guys think the lame duck period is gonna go for Trump? I think that's either gonna be really tragic or really funny.
I think it's. I want it to be funny, but I think it's gonna go rather poorly. I think he's gonna be a rather aggressive. He's gonna
You
try and
think,
put some aggressive shit in place.
I can't wait till he starts like executing random advisors for, like,
Jesus Christ.
for minor indiscretions and shit.
Yeah. What I'm hoping for to happen, because look, at the end of the day, I Trump's Trump's campaign, it wasn't a Republican campaign, it was a populist campaign. It wasn't
For
none of his ideology really lined up with what being a Republican was. And that's why I can't really fault a lot of Republican voters, because it was just a confused route for them. What I want to happen is the Republican congressmen and the senators who actually
Get back
believe
to
in the
roots.
Republicans' ideology, which at core isn't actually that bad of a thing. They care about the country as much as we do, ideally. I just want them to fucking denounce him for the fucking idiot
I mean,
he was.
a lot of senators and congressmen have started to denounce Trump on like what
Yeah.
he's been saying.
You can kind of see it in real time. I mean, Mitch McConnell, I think he was kind of. I mean, I'm not saying Mitch McConnell's a good person here, but I think he was kind of saying a couple of days ago that like, no, we can't. It's not going to change the outcome of the election here. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Well, he's...
And I think it'll be.
Go ahead.
I think it'll be very interesting, looking at the next couple of months, looking at a presidency that has been, for all intents and purposes, abandoned by both parties.
Yeah. Even if it's not all the way, most of it, it'll be interesting to see, for sure. That was our timer that went off a little bit ago, but if anyone wants to take Galaxy's place, go ahead and join the VC, but I'm just going to give another 5 minutes since there's nobody really waiting yet, so we can keep talking, fellas.
All right. Another thing that's come up in politics is North Dakota.
Well, alright.
What about it?
About it.
A Republican who was elected into office has died.
Oh,
For-
yes. Yes, the elected
Wasn't he
dead
the one
person.
that was he the one that admitted on Twitter that he committed a hit and run or some shit?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, I guess. But
What do you believe should happen to that person's spot?
I think it would either be the second most voted person or it's in the governor's hands, I suppose. But I think in our time, in reality, I think it falls to the general Republican Party to select a replacement.
Yeah, I think those are the rules. But did he win the election and then die?
Yeah. He won. He died
He,
and then won.
he
the
was
election.
already dead when the voting happened.
I believe he
Oh my
died in October.
And that just speaks to the genius level intellectism of the voter population. But no, we won't get into that.
I mean this in no harsh way, but if you look up the most intellectual states and look at the map, the political map, there is a resemblance.
That is true. I try not to look at it because like
Yeah,
I
I think that's kind of. I'm not a huge fan of when people say that because I don't think it's very
it's
kind of a-
it's a different world for them in the deep south and shit like that.
Yeah,
Like education.
and I think it's kind of elitist in a way too because like
yeah.
college degrees are good, right? But like they're not. That doesn't mean you're like a fucking idiot if you don't have one. I think it kind of
Yeah.
dehumanizes the people in the South, you know.
Yeah, but I do see your point, Galaxy. I think it more trends just in general. Better educated people tend to lean left, and that's definitely what I've seen for the majority. But yeah, I don't know. I think The North Dakota vote, I definitely think someone probably should have told the voters that the man was dead. But somehow that didn't get through to them. So, I'm just gonna let it slide. I guess. I guess the Republicans will pick someone to replace, and so be it. Democrats have the lead in the Congress, and isn't it really close in the Senate as well?
I think there's a runoff in
I
Georgia.
believe it's
Uh,
about to be like about the same amount of Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah,
I think
Republicans are
it's like that because I think it's one of those tiebreaker things, where like the vice president jumps in and like decides some shit.
Oh, then it'll just be the fucking Republicans who win. I also noticed that there's two other senators who are independent on the Senate this
Mhm.
time. What do you guys think about
That's what other senators?
that? It doesn't say what parties they are, but I'm gonna assume they're either independent or probably libertarian. It's only two people.
I know Bernie Sanders is independent, but I can't think of anyone else.
Let me see here. Maybe I'm just gonna see if there's any in Congress. I just spelled Congress with a fucking X. That's not how that works. Congress. Wow. So two senators of in the Senate, but none in Congress. That's pretty crazy. Okay. Well, yeah, looks like Democrats are gonna take control of the Congress this time around, but they're not gonna be able to get the Senate. Imagine the things that
Yeah.
would be done if it was all three branches of the government were
I
one out
think-
Democrat.
I think there is a runoff, and because it was like too close to call or something, so I think there is still technically a chance. But I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, not too sure either.
I want to take a look for a second, and look at some of these random third-party candidates because I think they're kind of funny.
Howie Hawkins.
Howie Hawkins.
I mean, you got your big boys like Howie Hawkins and Kanye.
And Kanye.
Why is no one talking about Rocky De La Fuentente of the Alliance Party?
First time I've actually heard of the Alliance Party as well. It's a shame. No, I have a
believe you
soft spot.
should
Sorry, go ahead.
bring back the Whig Party.
The Whig
The-
Party? Jesus Christ.
The Whigs.
Bring back the Whigs from the 1840s, my friend.
We need a new Whig. I think there is a third Whig party in like New York or some shit.
I would be surprised. Echoing
Yeah,
the
let-
legacy.
Uh,
Well, to be fair, I guess they are one of the only parties to have, third parties to have ever won the election, won a president. But then didn't he like instantly die as well? Wasn't that Garfield?
the Whig Party was famous for sometimes winning elections and then all of their presidents die.
Yeah. Miserable luck. Yeah, I don't have a lot of. Genuinely, I think I would vote third party if I was able to have more respect for them. But all the party platforms are kind of just stupid.
I mean, for me, I think I live in a very blue state that didn't really have a chance of going anywhere other than Biden.
Yeah.
So I think if you do live somewhere where it's kind of up in the air, you should vote for one of the two big parties. But if you live somewhere really like solid, I think like if you vote third party, that kind of sends a message to people. They're like, oh shit, they're not voting for us. That they're supporting this particular person's policies. Maybe we should change our policies so that next time we'll do better than that. Like I don't think when people vote for third party, it's supposed to be like they actually think that person's gonna win. I just think it's saying like this is what I support, and if you don't support it, I'm not gonna vote for you. You know what I'm saying?
It's making a statement.
For sure.
Well, pretty much closed off. I don't think anyone else. I'm pretty sure it's just us. Yeah. So just to close it off, since we're talking about third parties, we've pretty much milked the election. What we want to talk about? You guys ever?
I got one more thing.
Go ahead, Galaxy.
Go ahead. Yeah.
What do you guys think about Oregon's decriminalizing heroin and cocaine?
Who the fuck decided that? I heard about that.
No, okay. So like,
And
I feel
who
like
here is planning on moving to Oregon now?
I mean, crack is crack, but no, I think the law got really misinterpreted by like the general public. It's still illegal, but what happens is that if you're caught with it, you're not going to be put in jail. You're put into rehab, which is I think significantly better.
Okay, well that's way different then.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
people are still going to move. I mean, like Galaxy's thing still makes sense because if you're caught, then I mean you're still gonna the consequences aren't as severe as literally any other state. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely not been legalized. It's just the penalty has been significantly reduced, and in my opinion, has been made a lot better if you're caught with addictive drugs like that. I'm still moving to Oregon, though. That's,
I believe the entire SF is going to be moving to Oregon.
yeah. It's like I said, Esther, famous crack addict. You know, I can't blame her. Okay, last thing I wanted to talk about. Do you guys ever think there will be a chance for a third party to take a major stance in American history? Well,
Unless
I think maybe
federal-
okay, that's too broad. Next 100 years, we'll say. You think a third party will ever have a chance?
Unless federal government changes how voting works, I don't see it happening.
I think yeah. I mean, like, I think considering you're saying the next 100 years, right?
Yeah,
Think-
I think that's an acceptable time scale.
Think about the state of politics 100 years ago. Like, there was just beginning sort of the fucking I'm trying to think of the name, like the party flips where Democrats were becoming more liberal, Republicans are becoming more conservative. There was a lot of Theodore Roosevelt's party was becoming really prominent. I think it's pretty easy to sort of look at our time now and think it can't change, but over time, I think almost certainly things are going to happen.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I don't think we're ever gonna end up like Germany, stuff like that, where it's like
Oh,
they have like 7 parties, I want to say, stuff like that, where you can all choose from. I don't think
Some-
we'll ever reach that point, but I think 3 would still be pretty acceptable.
I see there's too much money in politics in America.
For sure.
There's too much deep money in Republican and Democratic Party that is just it's too hard to change unless there's actual reform made.
That's cynical, but I see your point. I do get it, but I don't know. I think eventually we'll hit a point where people will be too fed up with the money in politics, and the government will just have to say, "Okay, we'll restrict it," and then hopefully third parties will have the chance to breathe around that time.
Yeah, it's difficult to sort of figure that out so far ahead in advance, you know?
Yeah. Complications, my friend. But that's just the way we live, you know?
For sure.
Well, that pretty much wraps up our podcast for today. We are going to follow up and raid silver, like I said. So I'm putting it out in the chat to go raid our good friend there. Yeah, thanks everyone for listening in on our political takes and stuff here. Just an interesting time to go do it. I think I just took us off. Fuck. Did Darcy just end?
Yeah, the stream is now showing.
Yeah, we're now seeing.
Well, we're
Oh,
watching
it's
Silver play
going to
Minecraft
happen.
instead of politics, baby. That's just business, huh? So, thanks for tuning in. I don't fucking know if anyone can hear us anymore, but if you can, thanks for watching. We're
No one else is watching. It's just